Hi there guys, Ryath here from tabletopminis.com and welcome to another Age of Sigmar scenario, or battle plan as they're called. So today we're going to be playing scenario 3, which is Indomitable. And this is set around the same time as scenario 2, where the prosecutors were going to seize the gate. And Chaos are trying to make their way through this pass. So Ionus Cryptborn, which is the relictor here, he's been ordered to go and block the pass and basically like 300 style just kind of stop the hordes of chaos making their way through. So in this scenario we're going to have 3 waves of chaos. A new wave will spawn every 3 turns, and he's just got to hold out for 9 turns. So it should be an interesting game and I hope you enjoy it. So we'll show you the armies. Okay, so here we've got the Chaos Goretide. And we've got 5 blood warriors here, including a champion. And these guys are like the Chaos Elite. They've got 2 wounds, 2 attacks, and some nice special rules that make them really strong in hand-to-hand combat. And with them, we've got the same 20 blood reavers that we had from scenario 2. So these guys are pretty good. High damage output, but they're really weak. So they can't take damage well, and they can't take battle shock well, so good target for inspiring presence. And they're basically the horde, so we should have 3 waves of these coming in after every 3 battle rounds. And the idea of this scenario is to see if the Hammers of Sigmar can keep the pass blocked for them 9 rounds without dying. So it should be quite an interesting battle, and let's show you the Hammers of Sigmar. Okay, so here we've got the Hammers of Sigmar army. So they're going to be led by the Lord Relictor Ionus Cryptborn, and he can cast a prayer in the hero phase, either Lightning Storm or Healing Storm. Lightning Storm's an offensive prayer, and Healing Storm can heal any model around him within, I think it's 12 inches, and a D3 wounds. So he's quite strong, and he's going to be defended here by a bodyguard of 3 retributors, and they have 3 wounds each, 4+ save, and they can basically, on a roll of a 6 to hit, they do 2 mortal wounds rather than just normal damage. So mortal wounds, you don't get any save, so they can be potentially very strong offensively. And they also have 3 wounds, so they're pretty tanky as well. And the idea in this scenario is that they just need to survive, so with the Relictor's Healing Storm, that should give them a good chance. And that's Hammers of Sigmar. Okay, so here we've got the battlefield set up, and it's 24 inches by 24 inches, which we've marked out with the dice. And it's set in a pass, so we've got some rocky outcrops and mountains on the edges just to sort of simulate the setting. And deployment went first for the Hammers of Sigmar. They had to deploy in the center of their table edge, within 3 inches of that center point, so they basically had to go in the middle. And the Chaos, they all needed to be within 3 inches of this table edge. So we've got the horde of blood warriors here, and blood reavers, and then blood warriors over here. And we've chose to put two forests in here, maybe just to make the scenario a little more interesting. So what we're going to do now is we're going to roll on the scenery table. So first, for this wood here, we're rolling on the table, and that's a 3, which means that it's inspiring. So you add 1 to the bravery of all units within 3 inches of this terrain feature. And now rolling for this wood here. It is a 5, which is mystical, so roll dice in your hero phase for each of your units within 3 inches, and on a roll of a 1 your units befuddled. Otherwise, on a roll of 2 to 6 you get to re-roll failed to wound rolls until your next hero phase. So
make it pretty interesting.
Yeah, that could be quite useful. If they get befuddled though, you're in trouble. Okay, so we're into battle round 1, so we're rolling to see who starts here. So that's a 3 for the Chaos and a 1 for the Hammers of Sigmar. So Chaos to start. Okay, so I'm going to start by casting Inspiring Presence on the Blood Reavers here in the hero phase, and then we're straight into movement. Okay, now the Blood Warriors here are going to run towards the Hammers of Sigmar, so that's a 6 plus a d6. So that is 9 inches. You can get up there. Okay, now the Blood Reavers here are going to do the same thing. They're going to run towards the Hammers of Sigmar, so it's 6 plus a d6, which is 9 inches, and because they have a Hornblower, you add 1 to that, so that's a 10-inch move. So they can make it up here. And that completes the movement, and because I've run, they can't do anything else. So that's the end of turn 1 for the Chaos. So start of turn 1 for the Hammers, and
we're funnel test for these two guys.
Yep. So we've got a mystical forest here, so that's 2 plus to see if they get ensorcelled.
For the retributors.
Okay.
6.
Yep. The retributors are fine, and the Lord Relictor. Ooh, and he's befuddled, so he can't do anything this turn.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that the Hammers of Sigmar are going to do this turn. They're not going to move or shoot, and there's no combat. And because he's befuddled, the Lord Relictor, there's no inspiring presence or lightning storms or healing storms, so it's into battle round 2. Okay, so rolling to see who starts turn 2. It's a 3 for the Chaos and 2 for the Hammers, so Chaos to start turn 2. So start the hero phase, and because the Blood Reavers are within 3 inches of that mystical forest, we need to see if they get befuddled, so 2 plus. And they're okay, so they are ensorcelled now because they made the 2 plus, which means they can reroll to wound rolls, which is quite good. Also in the hero phase, I'm going to cast Inspiring Presence from my Warlord, which is the Blood Warrior champion here, on the Blood Reavers. So they're ensorcelled and they're inspired. Okay, and movement. So the Blood Warriors here, they're just going to move up 6 inches. So we're going to try and get a charge later. So we don't want to run with them, we just want to move them up as far as we can. And the same here with the Blood Reavers, we're just going to move them up 6 inches. So it's getting pretty tight in this choke point here, but I guess that's how the scenario is meant to be played out. Gives the Hammers a little bit of an advantage, I guess, because they're super elite and my guys are kind of more of a horde army. So the horde march into the pass, and that's movement over. Okay, there's no shooting here, so we're straight into the charge phase, and the Blood Warriors are going to try and charge the retributors over there. So we need a 5 plus to make the charge, which we make on 7, so we can move them 7 inches. And we want to try and squeeze as many models as we can into here, because it's quite tight already, just to maximize our attacks. But I think this is going to be difficult to get everybody, so I think I'm just going to have to put these 2 guys at the back here. Now the Reavers are going to make a charge, so that's 4 inches, but because we've got a Hornblower, we can add 1 to our charge and run, so we actually need a 3 plus here. And we just make it on a 3, so that just shows how good having a Hornblower can be, and they would have failed their charge otherwise. So they can move up 4 inches. So they're all in there now. And now we can start combat. Okay, so start combat, and the Blood Warriors are going to pile in 3 inches just to try and maximize attacks here. So we're just going to shuffle around the retributors here. Okay, so the Blood Warriors, they've got 9 attacks. It's 2 each for the Warriors and 3 for the champion, hitting on 3s and wounding on 4s. So that is 2 wounds. No rend there, so
4 plus.
4 plus save for the retributors, and that's so 1 wound.
1 wound.
So the retributors start on 3 wounds, so one of them is down to 2. And now it's the retributors or the Hammers to strike back. So the retributors are going to pile in here just to get all of their models in base to base with the Blood Warriors. So they're just going to shuffle over an inch or so. Okay, so 7 attacks from the retributors, 3 for the champion and 2 normally. They're hitting on 3s. So we have 3 hits there. Wounding on 3s, and they can reroll to wound here. So I can reroll that 1. So that is 2 wounds, and each of the wounds do 2 damage. So let's see if we can save these first. So there's a -1 rend, so that's a 5+ save, and none saved. So that is
2 are dead.
4 wounds on the Blood Warriors, which is 2 models. So 2 of them are dead. Just take them from the back there. And now the Blood Reavers are going to pile in 3 inches, just to maximize attacks here. And now the Reavers here to attack the Retributors. We've got 2 Reavers and a champion, so that's 4 attacks, and we're hitting on 4s, and we can reroll 1s here because of Reaver Blades. So that is 1 hit. Now we're wounding on a 4+, and this is rerollable because of the ensorcelled forest. So I can reroll that. Ooh, so there's no wounds there from the Reavers. Okay, so we're into the Battle Shock phase, and the Blood Warriors here, they took 2 casualties. So we're going to roll a d6 and add the number of casualties, which is 3. And they're Bravery 6 plus 1 for the Inspiring Forest. So Bravery 7, none of them flee. And that brings us to the end of the turn. So turn 2 for the Hammers of Sigmar. So rolling to see if the Retributors are befuddled. It's a 4, so they're okay. And now the Lord Relictor, let's see if he can do something this game. And they're both okay, so both of them can reroll to wound. Okay, and now you're going to cast Inspiring Presence on the Retributors. Yeah. And also you can choose with the Relictor to either do a Lightning Storm, which is an offensive prayer, or you can do a Healing Storm. So yeah. What is it you're going to do?
I'm going to do a Lightning Storm on the Blood Warriors.
Okay, so that's
3+.
A 3+ for it to go off, which he makes. So that's a d3 mortal wounds. Ooh, 3 wounds. So these guys have got 2 wounds each, so we'll remove 1 model, and then we'll put 1 model on 1 wound. And they also get a -1 to hit. The Blood Warriors now, because they've been hit by lightning, until the next hero phase, they're a -1 to hit. Okay, so there's no shooting, so we're into the combat phase, and he's gonna start by piling in his Retributors. I think he's trying to finish off my Blood Warriors here so that they can't cast Inspiring Presence on the Reavers. We've seen in, was it scenario 2, how strong Battle Shock can be, or how susceptible the Reavers are to Battle Shock. So, okay, so they've piled in Retributors to attack the Blood Warriors. So we've got 7 attacks there, hitting on 3s, and 6s do 2 mortal wounds. Because these guys are like they've got the double-handed hammers. They're meant to be so strong. Apparently in the fluff, it takes 6 men to even lift them hammers. 6s do 2 mortal wounds, so you don't even have to roll to wound. They just automatically do 2 mortal. So that's 4 mortal wounds instantly. So
they're gone.
Yeah, they've got 2 wounds each, so that's 3 wounds, and they're removed. Okay, and now the Reavers are going to pile in 3 inches, so we're going to get as many people as we can into base to base here. Okay, so my Reavers are going to attack the Retributors, and I've got 6 guys in base to base, and one of them is a champion, so that is 7 attacks, hitting on 4s, and I can reroll 1s because of Reaver Blades. So that is 3 hits, wounding on 4s, and I can reroll to wound because of Ensorcelled. So that is 3 wounds, and there's no rend on that, so
4+.
4+ to save. So that is 1 wound. So that guy goes down to 1 wound. And now the Lord Relictor is going to attack the Reavers. So he's got 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. So that's 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, but you can reroll these because of Ensorcelled. So that's 3 wounds with a -1 rend, and Reavers have no saves, so 3 of them are dead straight away. Okay, and there's no battle shock test to make here because they've still got Inspiring Presence until the start of my hero phase in the next round. So we're into battle round 3, so let's see who starts battle round 3. 6 for Chaos and 2 for the Hammers, so Chaos to start. So we'll start by making a befuddle test because of Mystical Forest, so 2, so they're fine, they're still ensorcelled. And there's no shooting, so we're straight into combat. Start the combat, and there's no, I can't really pile in any further because of the edge of the table. I can't really get behind that Relictor. So we've got 6 models. One of them is a champion, so that's 7 attacks, hitting on 4s. So they all hit. We're wounding on 4s. And we can reroll to wound because of ensorcelled. So that is 4 wounds, and no rend there, so saving on 4+. And that's 1 more wound, so that's
this guy's dead.
One of the retributors is dead. And now the retributors to attack back, so that's 5 attacks and hitting on 3s. So that is 4 hits. And wounding on 3s, rerollable because of the woods. So that's 4 wounds. They're damaged 2, so that's actually 8 wounds on the Blood Reavers.
8 dead.
And 8 dead because they don't have any save. And this is going to be really nasty in the Battle Shock phase with an 8 modifier. But you can you can see how strong that damage 2 makes these guys, right? Like, and not only that, but if you roll 6s to hit, they do 2 mortal wounds. So they are definitely pretty nasty, them retributors. So, and now the Lord Relictor to attack. So we've got 4 attacks hitting on 3s. That is 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, rerollable. So that is 1 more wound with no save. That's another model dead. And that's the end of the combat. So into the Battle Shock phase, and we roll a d6 and add the number of casualties. So we had 9 casualties there, and add 5, so that's 14. And they've got a bravery of
6.
Well, 5 plus 1 for the Inspiring Forest, so that's 6. So they're basically all dead, right? Yeah, so that's 8 of them actually flee, but there's only, well, yeah, there is exactly 8 of them. So the whole unit flees here. So that's huge, isn't it? Like 8 of them flee because they didn't have Inspiring Presence this turn because of the Blood Warriors. They're all off. So that is it. There is no chaos left on the board. Okay, so we're into battle round 4, and a new wave of chaos of the same as the first wave. 5 Blood Warriors, 20 Reavers has emerged from this table edge. So we've both reset up, and now we're roll to see who starts. So 5 for the Chaos and a 3 for the Hammers, so Chaos to go. So I'll start the hero phase by casting Inspiring Presence on the Reavers, and then the Blood Warriors are going to run again, so it's d6 plus 6, so they make 11 inches, which puts them up here. And the Blood Reavers here, they're going to run, so d6 plus 6. That's 7 plus 1 for the Hornblower, so they can move 8 inches. Okay, so the Reavers have moved up. And there's no shooting and no combat because they've both run, so it's the end of battle round 4 for the Chaos. So into Hammer's turn 4. Okay, so we're going to start by doing the Befuddle test for the Lord Relictor, so 2+. And he's fine, he's ensorcelled. And now the Retributors. 3, so they make it as well. Okay, so the Hammers are going to start their hero phase by casting Inspiring Presence from the Lord Relictor on the Retributors.
And then I'm going to cast Lightning Storm onto the Blood Warriors there.
Okay, so we've got a Lightning Storm here, 3+ to go off, which it doesn't make. So no damage there. And into movement, so the hammers have decided to try and get some cover from the forest here. So
I'm going to run these guys over here.
Okay, so he's running the retributors, so that's 4-inch normal move plus
So
1 for the run, so that is 5 inches.
So here.
So when your unit's fully within any terrain piece, you get a +1 cover save, which is quite nice.
And I'm going to do the same for this guy.
Okay, so the Lord Relictor is 4 inches normal move plus 2, so that's 6 inches. Okay, so he's in the forest completely, but he's just on the edge. And that's the end of the turn for the hammers. They don't have any shooting or combat or battle shocks. So now we're into battle round 5. So we need to see who starts. It's a 5 for Chaos and a 4 for the hammers. So Chaos to start again. And we'll start the hero phase by casting Inspiring Presence on the Reavers here. And then we're going to move these guys a normal 6 inches. So we're getting them lined up for a charge. And my Blood Reavers here, they're also just going to move forward 6. So hopefully they can make a charge, but they're going to need a pretty decent roll on the dice in the charge phase. Okay, so that's end of the movement and no shooting, so we're straight into combat phase. So charge phase, the Blood Warriors need 4 inches to get to the retributors. So the 2d6 charge is 9 inches, so they make it. They all make it. Now the Reavers are going to attempt to charge, so we need an 8+ to get there. And that's a 6. So even with the Hornblower, we fail to charge there, so they just stay where they are. So start the combat phase, and I'm going to pile in 3 inches just to move them around a little bit, just so we can get all 5 of them in the combat. And we've got 2 attacks each, 3 for the champion, so that's 11 attacks. Hitting on 3s, and wounding on 4s. So that's only 2 wounds. No rend, or actually, no rend, so that's 2 saves to make.
Yep, and I get +1 for the cover.
+1 for the cover save, so that's 3+. And they saved both wounds, so no damage there. That was a bit unlucky. Okay, retributors to attack back now, so we've got 5 attacks here. 3 for the 3's to hit.
1 6, so
okay, so that's
one's dead.
2 mortal wounds come for that 6, which will instantly kill 1 person. And then we've got 2 normal wounds. Yep. Okay, so
3's to hit.
3's to wound.
2 wounds.
So that's another 2 wounds, and they've got a rend of -1.
Yep.
So
5+.
5+ save, which they both make. So with these Blood Warriors, they've got an ability called Gore Fist, and each time you make a successful save, you basically roll a dice, and if you get a 6, then you inflict 1 mortal wound back to the attackers. So, that's 1 wound, 1 mortal wound came from the Gore Fist. So the Gore Fist is like this kind of little shield that you see the model has, and it's got spikes on it. So when you make a save, it can do damage back. It's quite cool.
So he's down to 2 wounds.
Okay, so one of the retributors on 2 wounds. Okay, now the Lord Relictor is going to pile in just to get into combat there. Okay, now the Relictor has got 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. And a wounding on 3s, rerollable, because he was ensorcelled. So that's 4 wounds with -1 rend.
5+.
That's a 5+ save. So that's 1 save. So
one's dead and
so 3 wounds here. So we'll put 1 guy on 1 wound, and we'll remove a model. So that's the combat over, and now we're into battle shocks. So we lost 2 Blood Warriors here, so we rolled a d6 and add the casualties. It's 3. And their bravery 6 plus 1 for the forest 7, so none of them flee. Okay, so start with battle round 5 for the hammers.
Yeah, I'm going to cast Inspiring Presence from Lord Relictor onto my retributors, and I'm going to cast this Lightning Storm onto the Blood Warriors.
Okay, so 3 plus for it to go off, which it makes, so that's a D3 mortal wounds. It's 3 wounds.
So 1.
Ooh, so this guy's on 1 wound, so he's dead, and the other normal model's dead, so it's just the champion remaining. And he's at a -1 to hit now for the rest of the turn. Okay, so there's no shooting, so we're straight into the combat phase, and there's 2 retributors here. That's 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, and wounding on 3s. And yeah, they're not ensorcelled this turn, so that's no damage from the retributors. Okay, now the Blood Warrior champion to attack back, so 3 attacks hitting on 3s and wounding on 4s. It's 2 wounds and no rend.
So 3 plus save for me.
Yeah. So that's 1 wound.
So he is down to 1 wound.
And now the Lord Relictor is going to pile in, so he's just going to move up. And now the Relictors to attack, 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, which is 3 hits, wounding on 3s, so that's 1 wound, and there's a rend of -1.
But you get your cover save?
Yeah, I get my cover save at this, or no I don't, because I charged, so there's no cover save. Rend of -1, so that's 5 plus, which he doesn't make, so he's down to 1 wound. Now the battle shock phase, so 2 casualties plus d6 is 6, and he is bravery 7 while he's in the wood there, so there's nobody flees. Okay, so battle round 6, so let's see who starts. 5 for chaos and 3 for hammers, so chaos to start again. We will start by making a befuddle test for the reavers, which they pass, so they're ensorcelled, and the my champion there is going to cast Inspiring Presence on the reavers. The blood reavers are just going to move up. They've got movement 6, but I have to stop at 3 inches, so they stop just here. Okay, so they've moved up there. And there's no shooting, so we're straight into the charge phase. So the reavers here are going to charge, and they need 3 inches, but they've got the hornblower, so they can make it 4 inches.
Rolling 1 dice?
Okay, start the charge phase for the reavers, and they're going to charge 2d6 plus 1 for the hornblower. So that is 10 inches. So they make it into combat. Okay, so the start of combat here, and we've got 5 reavers attacking the retributors, so that's 6 attacks because the champion's got 2. We're hitting on 4s, and we can reroll 1s, we don't have any of them, so we've got 3 hits. We're wounding on 4s, rerollable, which is 3 wounds, and saves no rend, so
3 plus?
3 plus because they're in cover. So that is 2 wounds.
So he is dead. And 1 wound on the other guy.
Okay, and the 1 retributor there is going to attack the blood reavers, so that's 3 attacks hitting on 3s. Ooh, and 6s do 2 mortal wounds, so that is 4 dead. I'll take them from the back.
And the other one doesn't go through, so it's
okay,
4 dead.
So that's 4 dead. And now my chaos, my blood warrior champion is going to attack the last remaining retributor. So 3 attacks hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, 3 wounds.
3 plus save.
And that's 1 more wound, so he's down to 1 wound. Okay, so now the Lord Relictor is going to attack my reavers here. So that's 4 attacks hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s.
Okay,
so that
2 dead.
2 dead, and no saves because they don't have any. Okay, so start battle round 6 for the hammers, and the Lord Relictor is casting Commanding Presence on the
Inspiring
Retributor.
Presence on the Retributor,
Yep.
and he's also going to try and cast Healing Storm, so I need a 3 plus.
Okay. which he makes, and that's D3 wounds are healed, which is 1, so he's up to 2 wounds. And there's no shooting or charging and so on, so we're straight into combat, and this retributor is going to attack the blood reavers.
Yep. So 3 plus.
3 attacks, hitting on 3s, and nothing hits. Okay, so reavers to hit back. Pile these guys in 3 inches, just to get more guys in combat. Okay, so the reavers here, we've got 5 of them in basic contact with the retributor, so that's 5 attacks, hitting on 4s and wounding on 4s, which we can re-roll because of the ensorcelled. So that's 1 hit, or 1 wound, and do you want to make a save? It's a 3 plus, which he fails, so he's down to 1 wound. And the Blood Reaver champion here is going to attack the Relictor, so that's 2 attacks hitting on 4s, and they both miss, but Reaver Blades can reroll 1, so 1 hit, wounding on 4s, no wounds, so that's that over. Okay, now for the Lord Relictor, so he's going to pile in just to move him into base to base with the Blood Warrior champion, and that's 4 attacks hitting on 3s,
that's 3
hits, wounding on 3s, 3 wounds, and a save of a 4 plus. Oh no, 5 plus because we're rend. So that's 3 wounds, so he's dead, he didn't make any saves. But before he's removed, he can actually attack back. So that's a special rule that the Blood Warriors have. So he's going to do 3 attacks on the Lord Relictor, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, 1 wound, no rend, so
2. Can you do 2 plus? Because he's in cover. His normal save is 3 plus.
Yeah.
2 plus.
2 plus save, which he makes, and that's the end of battle round 6. And we've still got 1 retributor on 1 wound and the Lord Relictor. So the second wave is complete, and we're into the final wave. So into battle round 7. Okay, so start of battle round 7 here, and we've got our 3rd wave of chaos, our final wave here, and he's got 1 retributor and the Lord Relictor left. So let's see if he can keep defending the pass. It's our last chance. So rolling to see who starts the battle round. 4 for chaos and a 6 for the hammer. So do you want to start?
Yep.
Okay, so now the befuddled test. So for the Relictor, he makes it, and the retributor, he makes it also. So they're both ensorcelled, they can reroll to wound. Okay, so you're going to start by casting Inspiring Presence on your retributor.
On him, and then I'm going to try and heal him as well with Healing Storm. I need 3 plus.
Okay, so on a 3 plus, no, nope, it doesn't make it. And
no movement.
No movement? No.
Or actually, yeah, I'm going to move. I'm going to run into the forest.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I should have
okay, and now you're going to...
Yeah, I'm going to run him into the forest, the Relictor.
Okay, so that's 4 inches plus a d6, so it's 7 inches he can move. Just trying to keep him out of harm's way for his last 3 turns, I guess. Give him a cover save.
I'm going to do the same thing for him as well.
Okay, so 4 inches plus d6, so that's 5 inches he can move. Okay, and there's no shooting or charging or anything, so I guess it's the end of your turn.
Yep, that's the end of my turn.
Okay, so battle round 7 for the chaos. And I'll start by casting Inspiring Presence on the Reavers. And now I'm going to run my Blood Warriors towards that forest over there, so d6 plus 6. That's 9 inches. So these guys move up to here. And the same with the Blood Reavers here, they're going to run a d6 plus 6 and add 1 for the Hornblower, so that's 8 inches. So they can get up to here. Okay, and that's movement over, and there's no shooting or charging, so that's the end of battle round 7 for the chaos. Okay, we're rolling for battle round 8 now to see who starts. 2 for the chaos, and a 1 for the hammer Sigmar, so chaos to go first. Okay, so I think I'm a little bit too far away here to make a normal move and then attempt to charge. I would need like a 12, so I'm just going to run them a d6 plus 6. So for the Blood Warriors, that is 8 inches. So they'll move up to here. And for the Blood Reavers, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to just run them. Otherwise, I don't think I've got any chance of catching his guys. So that's 6 plus 3, and then 1 for the Hornblower, so they can move 10 inches. So they can move into the woods here. They're still more than 3 inches away from the hammers. And that's all of them. Blood Reavers skirmishing through the forest, trying to catch the last hammers of Sigmar. It looks like we're only going to have one turn to do it in, because that is battle round 8 for the chaos finished, because we can't do anything else. So into battle round 8 for the hammers. Okay, so we're going to start by doing the befuddled tests here. So
Lord Relictor.
The Lord Relictor, 2+. Ooh, okay, and he's so befuddled.
And now the Retributor. He's okay.
Oh, okay. And
I'm just going to move him just over here.
Okay, so kind of blocking, using them 2 trees to the side to try and minimize attacks that you take.
Yeah.
Okay, and I guess you don't have any shooting.
Yeah, no shooting, nothing else.
You don't want to charge?
No.
Sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, so that's battle round 8 over for the hammers, and into battle round 9. Okay, rolling for battle round 9 to see who starts. So 1 for chaos and 6 for hammers. So hammers to go first. So start at turn 9. So you're going to cast Inspiring Presence on the Retributor here.
I need to do a befuddle test first.
Yeah, okay. So
for the Relictor.
Do you want to reroll that? It's cocked.
Okay.
Relictor is befuddled.
Again. Okay, and now the Retributor. Okay, he's okay.
He's okay, so anything? Any movement?
No movement, no nothing. I'm just going to keep him like this, so into chaos.
Okay. So chaos turn 9, final part of the battle round of third. We're going to start with the befuddled test for the Blood Warriors, because they're within 3 inches. And they make it. And for the Blood Reavers, ooh, the Blood Reavers are befuddled, so they can't move. It's only the Blood Warriors. Start the hero phase. I'm going to cast Inspiring Presence on the Blood Warriors, and they are going to move 6 inches, or they're going to move up to within 3 inches of the Retributor. So we'll move them up to here. And then we are straight into the charge phase, and we are going to charge with the Blood Warriors. We're going to charge the Relictor. So I think we need we're going to need a 4+ here. Ooh! No way! So that's 3 inches, which that's more than ½ inch away. So actually it's a failed charge, so they stay where they are.
Wow,
and
those guys are befuddled, so it's the end of the game.
Yeah, so damn, that whole wave, no combat.
Wow.
So that is actually the end of the game. The third wave couldn't make it to the Hammers of Sigmar. The Hammers of Sigmar managed to kind of evade them in that forest there. So it's the end of the third wave, and let's get into the post-match. So into the post-match, and that went pretty quick, especially that final wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun game, trying to sort of chase his guys around the board. I thought I'd do more damage to you, like with so many numbers.
Yeah, I thought I was one-sided to begin with, because they did have so many numbers, you know. But them Retributors are a lot more powerful than I initially thought, and I like the Relictor's abilities to heal up and cast Lightning Storm, D3 mortal wounds. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think especially if you're healing other special characters or you know, things with a lot of wounds, so you don't waste any of them.
That can be very helpful.
Yeah, but I actually think Lightning Storm is more powerful, because when you cast it, it not only does D3 wounds,
but -1 to hit.
The -1 to hit can be quite big. Like the Reavers, if they get on you, you're going to have sort of 6 models attacking you. So a -1 to hit, I think, is pretty strong.
Definitely.
And yeah, you're right. Them Retributors, with when they roll a 6 to hit, they do 2 mortal wounds, and because they have 3 attacks each, like a unit of them, which is like typically
it's just
3.
the Retributor Prime that has 3 attacks. The other ones normally have
Oh
2
yeah,
attacks.
yeah, that's right, that's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's potentially 4 mortal wounds from a basic warrior.
Definitely.
So yeah, they were tough nuts. But yeah, so the Hammers of Sigmar, they have defended the pass and allowed the prosecutors to continue to attempt to open the gates to Azure.
Round with your run rolls and your charge rolls.
Yeah, and befuddled with the Reavers.
Yeah, even I got my Relictor befuddled twice in a row, and like still, you know, that's what happens when you roll badly.
It's good though. I like these scenery rules. All the mystical scenery, not mystical, but like the scenery table, and it does add some interest to the game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because not only do you have the randomness of who starts the battle rounds, but you've got the randomness that the scenery brings in as well. So like it can quickly swing the game. And you know, we're only playing with 2 pieces here, but on a full-scale battlefield with more, like some of our previous reports, it does make for a very interesting game.
Oh yeah.
So that's it. That's the end of scenario 3. So we are on to scenario 4 next. I hope you've enjoyed this series of scenarios or battle plans so far. And if you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe, or check us out on tabletopminis.com. And if you can, it'd be great if you can help support us on Patreon. So you'll see a link in the video description, and we're using Patreon to support our channel and you know, help us to make these videos and continue to improve what we're doing. And we're enjoying it a lot, so if you guys, anybody that can help out, that is much appreciated. I think we've got just a few supporters at the moment, but yeah, it's growing quickly. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and see you next time.
Yeah.